This small shellfish has a superpower. Not only can oysters make pearls out of grains of sand and taste incredible on the half shell, they can also completely transform their environment. One oyster can filter up to 50 gallons of water in a single day, leaving it cleaner and healthier. These amazing shellfish are like the natural cleaning crew of the ocean. But ocean acidification and other climate-related changes are threatening oyster populations.
So you all know how that video is going to go. We're going to talk about a lot of the climate issues related to the ocean ecosystems today and how oysters are being stressed and populations are going down and their shells are becoming more brittle as the ocean acidifies. It's a great video. I do recommend you check that out in the description. But I don't really want to talk about problems today because there's so many exciting things about new food technology that's beyond just solving the problems. We do want to solve the problems, but we also want to create an exciting future. What if we could actually expand the experience of seafood to be something that was available locally no matter where you lived in the world? I think that's an exciting future. The next founder of the next company is doing a lot of cool things to bring out this exciting future. So let's get into the video on Pearlita Foods.
I actually grew up on the coast of Scandinavia. So, my childhood was filled with fresh seafood like oysters or eel, crayfish, all those type of goodies. But, today they're just increasingly hard to come by. So to me, it's very important that we still have access to these incredibly nutritious and delicious foods, just, culturally important for many people, but also very nutritious.
In terms of sequestering carbon, in terms of filtering water. And obviously the flip side of that is, as you were just saying, due to I'm sitting right near the ocean right now, the other side of the Atlantic Ocean from Scandinavia. But contamination, disease, everything else that's out there that they have to put up with. Talk a little bit, because we always think about sort of the non-food role that some of these species play, but in this case, it's very important. In a sense, going back as we get into the story of why we be nice to leave them alone so they could do that job while we figure out other ways to eat them.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly sort of, something that we talk a lot about is this idea of thinking about, animals more than just consumption and more than just food. They actually do super important tasks, like you just said, filtering water, sequestering carbon. They're what you call ecosystem engineers, so they really help support larger ecosystems. And if they're set up right, and people that are educated about the complexities of building up an ecosystem sort of help set that up, they can really support them for a long time. In the wild, they actually live up to 20 years. When compared to like farming, we harvest them after 1 or 2 years once they reach adult size. So they really have a lot of time and work in them that they can do and happily support. I know the Billion Oyster Project out by Hudson Bay, they clean out the shells, and they sort of help support just for the purpose of cleaning the waters, and they've had great success with that. So I think it's so important that when we think about animals, that they do have, a lot of them have larger or bigger purposes than just being our food on our plates.
So the clip at the very start of this video where it shows how oysters are filtering water, I didn't know any of that. There's some super cool things that oysters do for the ecosystem, and it would be really cool if we could eat them without having to, take them away from doing that job, right?
For us, we have adherent cells, so they do need actually some kind of scaffold to attach to in order to continue to live, which, in that way we can utilize stuff from the plant kingdom sort of to help support the texture and the flavor. So we definitely that's sort of our strategy here to use, and you see that's pretty common I see that a lot with the other startups as well, that they kind of do a similar type of hybrid product. Of course, there is a challenge because we are trying to create a whole oyster. So for us, there is a bit of experimentation that goes into, okay, well, which of the tissues are the most important to cultivate when it comes to flavor and texture and nutrition and those type of things. So we have so far isolated 7 different tissue types from both wild and farmed oysters. So we have a lot of different things to pursue, but it definitely takes a little bit of time to figure out, okay, well, which ones are the most important to focus on. So that's a bit of a trial and error area that we step into there.
Pearlita was just founded this year, and they already have a number of plant-based products that they're prototyping. So they have some clam chowder, California roll, and a number of oyster products. I had the pleasure of trying some of these oyster products when I went down to the Bay Area, and they are really tasty. So I'm pretty excited about them starting with this while they ramp up their cell line, because that will take some time. And if they can get their plant-based business up and running to give them a bit of buffer and income to then put into the cell development, I think that gives them a really good chance at surviving for the longer term. That's kind of where I'm sitting at this point, looking at the company.
Something that is some of the most popular flavors that are more palatable, so to speak. But we have of course been approached by oyster sommeliers and different people that are very excited about the fact that maybe we can, replicate flavors that are much more rare and difficult to come by. That's something that they are very intrigued by. I'm not sure how big the market is for us to target something like that. But it's something that's fascinating. That's what's so exciting about, this type of technology, is that we can really explore, making something that's rare, more common, make a product more accessible, and also bring a fresh oysters with pure ocean flavor to areas far from the coast. Like, you don't need to be on the coastline to have this food. You can really live anywhere. We can, make it anywhere. So I think those are some of the things that are so promising about this type of, innovation.
Super cool company, super cool vision from the founder, Nikita. I really hope they do well. The full link to that interview, it's a really good one, in the description. Highly recommend you check it out. That was a quick look at Pearlita Foods, which is one of the Cult Food Science portfolio companies. Thanks for watching.